Hey everybody, Mrs. Norris here. So today I want to walk you through our activity where we will be watching a crash course video and answering some true-false questions. It's a little different from an ed puzzle, so I want to make sure that you understand the directions before you move on. So let's look first up at the very top. If you're watching this in the year 2021, this assignment is due by the end of the day on April 12th, which is today for most of you. So please make sure that you get this finished as soon as possible. The assignment will close by the end of the day on 4/26, so April 26th. That's a 2-week window for turning in late work. So just to say this again, in the year 2021, this assignment is due today. So please make sure you use your time wisely to get it done. If it's not 2021, then just make sure you pay attention to what the due dates would be for this assignment. Let's look at our know, understand, and do. So we are moving into a new unit, unit number 5, which is about sectionalism and regionalism. It talks a lot about the reform movement in the United States, where a lot of changes were made to create more opportunities for people. So let's take a look at our know, understand, and do. What you should be able to answer the question by the end of this unit is, how did work change in the first half of the 19th century? I want you to understand that there were periods of boom and bust that created both progress and poverty. In response to the strains brought about by rapid industrialization, an age of reform began in which attempts were made to make life more bearable for the less fortunate and to expand opportunities for many. The Second Great Awakening inspired religious zeal, social reforms such as equal education for women and African Americans, and eventually support for the abolitionist movement, which is the movement to end slavery. As more Americans grew concerned about people who were considered to be downtrodden, they turned their reform impulses from churches and philanthropies to other sectors of society. So let's look at the do. As I've already said, you're going to watch a video, a crash course video, and you're going to answer a set of true-false comprehension questions. So before I show you the task, let's look at the directions. Number 1, make a copy of the file. We'll do that together in a moment. Make sure you change the words copy of to your first and last name. As you're watching the video below, complete the true-false comprehension questions. You'll see that there are a set of boxes. If the statement is true, move the true box to the line. If the statement is false, move the false box to the line. Use the second box to write a sentence that will make the statement true. Move it to the end of the false statement. Timestamps at the end of each statement will help you find the answer, and the first 2 are done for you as an example. So if reading that to you, you don't know what I'm talking about, hopefully the examples will clarify it for you a little bit better. When you are done, download your work as a PDF and submit it to Canvas. I'm going to show you all of those things in just a moment. So let's first do step number 1 and make a copy of the file. So I'm going to go ahead and click. And it's going to ask me if I want to make a copy of the document, which I do. And then to make it easier to both complete the assignment and watch the tutorial or the video, I'm going to go ahead and resize these so that I can see both. Okay. All right. Okay. It says to change copy of to my first and last name. So at the very top, I'm going to delete that information and put my first and last name. I'm going to pretend I am my stepson right now. I'm going to hit return to save that. Now it says, as you're watching the video below, so here's our video below, and the directions are also here. If the statement is true, move the true box to the line. So if you'll notice, there are boxes here, and I'm going to use this down here to move, that say true on the left-hand side of the document, and then there are boxes that say false with an additional box next to it. That's all going to make sense in just a moment, okay? The same thing is on the second slide, okay? Now let's go back to the first. If the statement is false, move the false box to the line. It says that the first two are done for you, so you can see that statement number 1, the Shakers isolated themselves from the market economy and believed in equality of the sexes, managing to recruit 6,000 members at their height, even though they practiced celibacy. That is a true statement. So I've moved one of the true boxes to the line. Okay, this is the line that I'm talking about. Okay, statement number 2 is false. It says, the Latter-day Saints, also known as Mormons, were persecuted for their beliefs and driven out of New York. They eventually settled in the South Carolina region. So it says, use the second box to write a sentence that will make this statement true. So this is a false statement. They, in fact, moved to Utah. So instead of they eventually settled in the South Carolina region, I've changed the sentence to what it says in the video. So I've used one of these larger boxes and said they settled in what is now Utah. Okay, so I've moved that box to the end of the statement. Move it to the end of the false statement. So when I grade your work, I'm going to be looking for 2 things. Did you answer true or false? That's the first part. Did you, if the answer was false, make a statement so that now the answer is true? Okay, and it obviously doesn't have to be the whole sentence. Just change the piece that is false about the statement. Okay. So you're going to continue to work on these as you are watching the tutorial, as you are watching the crash course video. You can watch it on YouTube if you would like as well. When you are done, it says you are going to download your work as a PDF. And before I move on to that, just really quickly, you'll see that there are timestamps on the end of each statement. Those timestamps will give you an idea of where you can find the answer just in case you miss it. Okay. So now when we're done, we're going to download this as a PDF. So I'm going to go to File, Download, PDF. Okay. And you'll see on my desktop or wherever your file is saved that it's saved with the same name here. So it's easier for me as your teacher to see what assignment it belongs to who. Okay, so when you're done, make sure that you download it as a PDF and submit it into Canvas for me to grade.